This is Stephanie Douglas of View from Abroad, and I'm standing at the corner of Yonge and Upper Prince Street. As you can see, this is a modest neighborhood. Some of the buildings are nicer than others. It's a couple of blocks from Sobeys. Townhouses in the area. You can see all the way down to University Avenue. This is where there is new construction going in, and if you can see from here that all of this whole corner of Yonge and Upper Prince and all the way down Yonge Street has all been demolished to make way for a brand new type of building. It says leading edge homes. Well, I don't know if they're leading edge homes. It says that Yonge Street and Upper Prince is getting a facelift, but in the 40 years that I've been in Canada, a facelift usually means gentrification. So they're in the process of developing this. Now, supposedly, the units are going to be 430 odd square feet per unit, micro bachelor suites, high end, upper end. Not a lot of footage. They're going to be open concept, and supposedly they're saying they might be cheaper than current market value, but they won't know until they finish building. We all know what that means. They're going to go, oh my God, the cost of building was way more than we thought, and so we're going to have to make them more expensive. Now, having a bed and breakfast in this area, right here, we all know that the cost of bed and breakfasts on PEI are incredibly, incredibly expensive. They are expensive during the summer on a per day rate. They are expensive as a per week rate. And in the off season, when they rent them on a monthly rate, they're still expensive. So what's happening? Why am I here doing this? This is because PEI is currently in a housing crisis. And the city of Charlottetown continues to allow development of new properties without any assurance that there are going to be affordable housing units. This is an issue. The issue is we have a new type of homelessness on PEI. We have women with children. We have people who are working, like my roommate, Cindy. She is an entrepreneur, and she has been homeless and living on my couch since the 23rd of July because there are no apartments. There are no rentals. Even though she's able to get a place for around $900, there are no rentals. Some of the rentals for a 1-2 bedroom are $1,300 to $1,500. Now, we all know that our dear Clifford Lee, one of our counselors, Clifford Lee, who has been on council since the first time I came to PI in 1995, and who is now, hysterically enough, the advisor on housing for the province, and the council members are a huge part of this problem. The problem is that they've seen this coming since 2010. In fact, the city of Charlottetown and the province took part in a research project with the Homeless Hub, which is a national organization that does research on homelessness. I personally have followed them on Twitter for years, and I have my issues with this. The reason is that there has been research across Canada for the last 35, 36, 37, 38 years, 40 years, on homelessness and housing. So why did the province participate in another research project? Good question. Nobody's asking that question. So they participated in a homelessness project from 2010 to 2016, and yet, and they started in 2010 because they were aware of the rising issue of homelessness. And yeah, so they did the research. They didn't follow any of the recommendations or institute any strategies. Would you young ladies like to give a quick interview on anything you think about homelessness, the rising homelessness and rent prices on PEI?
I don't know anything about. I just moved here
last
week from New Brunswick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the house.
Can I put you on camera?
No.
Okay. So thank you very much, and have a good day. Nice young ladies, recently moved here, don't know a lot about our housing situation. So my contention with the Homeless Hub is that what we should be doing instead of new research is actually collating all the research and determinants of health that have been done in every province across PEI in the last 20 years. Collating the information, ranking the recommendations from priority, highest priority, down to the bottom, and then actually instituting the strategies and recommendations around housing and people who are homeless due to rising costs, and do something. But you know, according to the Homeless Hub, PEI spends $240 to $300 million a year on homelessness. Now, where do you think that money is going? Because it's not going into housing, and it's not going to individuals who need housing. It's not going into higher rates for income assistance. It's not going into housing subsidies for single parents or the working poor, service workers, and those kind of people. No, it's going to people who make money off the poor and homeless individuals, to nonprofit organizations, to the government, to facilities, ministers' offices, social workers, because let's face it, on PEI, as in any other province, when you're homeless and you're a parent and you're poor, income assistance doesn't go, oh, we can help you. Or if you're working and you find yourself homeless for whatever reason, they don't go, oh, we can help you subsidize your rent. No, what they do is they go in, they take the children or child away, and then they pay the foster care person, the foster care home, a substantial amount of money to take care of the child, that if the parent had had that money, probably would not have been homeless, probably would have had better health, probably would have had less stress, and most likely would not have been homeless in the first place. Now, how do I know this? Well, I worked in Vancouver, downtown Vancouver, for a long time in mental health. I worked at the Kettle Friendship Society. I worked with the city, with their city and housing in Oppenheimer Park. I worked with in child protection, and so I've seen just about all of it. Not only that, I've lived in Victoria, Vancouver, Rocky Mountain House, Alberta, the Sunshine Coast, Halifax, and PEI. This is my second time on PEI. And PEI from 1995 to 2001 did not have this problem. 2013, when I came back, I could see the problem was growing, but it wasn't at this level. This level of new homeless individuals, new homeless families, new homeless workers is a product of greed, disregard, and what I call intentional creation of a homeless community. It's a huge industry. A lot of people make money off of it. So why not keep it going? Why build units that are affordable? Or city council. City council during the last 5 years, well, since 2016, when the Homeless Hub did their final report, since then, the increasing homeless situation and ridiculous rents could have been avoided if City Council had intelligently instituted a few simple things, such as any new construction had to have a certain amount of affordable units, period. A certain amount of construction of high-end units had to be subsidized for people who could not afford them. They had to have subsidies. So there's a number of things. The other thing that is the reason why PEI has an incredible amount of homelessness, and I do have this on a lengthy podcast on Patreon, and that is, now the Homeless Hub said it was because of increased immigration. Well, yeah, not as simple as that. It's a combination of things. And believe me, underneath all of the reasons why there are more people homeless and the rents are outrageous is because of greed. So the PNP program is still as useless and as failed as it has ever been. In my neighborhood, which I live not very far from here, there's a business, and in the last 4 years, it's gone through 3 owners. Now, the first 2 owners, well, those first 2 owners barely spent any time on PEI. They spent time in Toronto, and they spent time in China. And they had young staff who worked their asses off, like, I'm talking like 65, 70 hours a week, working their asses off while making $12 for these guys who really didn't, care that they were overworking staff and had no idea about, that's an asshole, let's get him. Who is he? He shouted something mean because I'm in the road. Do you think there's enough road? There's no traffic. Well, I'll get a picture of him. So, look, there's no traffic. So, there's lots of room for them to go around me. Some people are just assholes. So, here you can see the back of some of the buildings. That one in the back where the cars are at the far end is an old apartment building. There's a building across the street. I hope you can see it past the porta potty, which looks like it's been abandoned and will probably be demolished and something expensive put in. So, getting back to why there's a homeless situation on PEI. Well, the PNP program, for one, I learned recently from a trusted source, who I'm not going to name because of where he works and all of that, who said that he knows someone in property management, a friend of his, who says that in the apartment complex that he's managing, there are 4 empty units. Now, the 4 empty units have a bed and a few pieces of furniture, but they're empty. They've been empty for months. The people who are renting them, actually they're Chinese, are just using them as an address so that they can get their permanent residency card, because PEI is a landing spot right now. And as soon as they get that, they're off to Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, not PEI. So the PNP program is one issue. And the increased immigration is a part of, besides the PNP program. The province and the city have been actively encouraging immigration to PEI. So immigration is one part of the issue. The other part of the issue is the fact that Holland College, who we all know took that corner on Grafton Street when, with the city's permission, demolished businesses and affordable housing and expanded. Loss of housing, loss of businesses, yeah, greed. Greed is a motivator. Because Holland College and UPI have been extensively recruiting foreign students to PI. A lot of them, after they finish their studies, try and stay here. But while they're here, and lots of Nigerian, Ghanaian, the reason that there's more Ghanaian students is because of the Ghanaian economy is really bad. And so for the first time, Ghanaians are traveling. They're not travelers like Nigerians. So we have Nigerian, Ghanaians, Middle Easterns, and a whole bunch of Asian, of all different cultures, a lot of Chinese who are buying up properties. And what they've been doing is they buy up a property, they renovate it, or they build new. They raise the prices because there's no housing rental caps on PEI. And then everybody else in the neighborhood says, oh, great, we can raise our prices too, even though their places may be absolute crap. So, the other issue that other provinces have found and had to correct after the fact, PEI likes to do it all ass backwards, really. They don't learn from other people. They choose to make their own mistakes, even though everybody else already knows what the mistakes are. So, Airbnb. Other provinces have had Airbnbs put in, and then housing becomes lost. My friend who's homeless and my couchmate, her apartment, which was $535 a month, a one-bedroom, the building got turned into Airbnb when her landlord died. So they kind of slapped some new paint on, and now they're charging $1,300 for the same one-bedroom place. Hi, how are you doing? Good. I'm doing a podcast. I have a podcast, and I'm doing a little thing on homelessness on PEI and the rising cost of rents. Would you be willing to be interviewed? Okay. People don't want to be interviewed. That's okay. The issue isn't going to go away. So, this is Stephanie Douglas, A View from Abroad, signing off. And if you want to learn more about the issues of homelessness, please go to my podcast site on Patreon or visit my webpage, my Facebook page, Stephanie Douglas, A View from Abroad. And please, if you work in a community organization, an NGO, who supposedly says that they are all working for solutions to homelessness, well, I'd like to see you guys out here surrounding sites like this and actually making an issue of it. Because unless people get out and start vocally making an issue at the fact that PEI has intentionally, knowingly, with research, continued to create a situation where new types of homeless individuals who are working or trying to work and make a life cannot afford to on PEI anymore. So, unless there's a critical mass of voices, unless people are willing to come out and be counted, because people who are homeless are vulnerable. Not only are they vulnerable, They are afraid. They are afraid that if they speak out or gather, that um, their jobs will be lost, that their children will be taken, and that income assistance will cut them off. So the only people who have a voice are people like me and people like you. So if you want to save PEI from the disaster of Vancouver, I mean, in just 5 years, PEI has managed to pretty much almost catch up with Vancouver on rents. In fact, I think it still might be cheaper to live in Halifax. Okay, signing off, Stephanie Douglas, A View from Abroad. Community warrior healers, get out there, raise your voices, because if you don't, who will?